Welcome back to 10 Times Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Grout, and I'm sitting in the Kangan Motorsports studio, and across from me is my co-host, Adam Nielsen.
Hi.
And on Zoom, we have Josh Fettes.
Hi.
From Grid Life Paddock fame.
Oh, easy now.
I don't know.
He's the Grid Life dyno operator.
That's where he's
The base
from.
favorite dyno operator. He told me at PRI.
Well, I don't doubt that
I mean,
for a
it's
second.
between you, me, and him. Of course, you're his favorite.
Ryan sitting at home listening. Like, seriously?
Well,
What the fuck?
he's the assistant too,
He's there.
right? But I was the assistant too at one point. Ryan was the assistant too at another point,
except
and
for
then I was the man at Lime Rock.
Exactly.
And then I fell asleep on the dyno because no one was fucking coming to dyno, and I was tired.
That's not your fault.
It's true.
That's somebody else's problem.
I was put in a good/bad place. Good for me, bad for business.
Yeah. They're fine.
I was so tired. Wasn't worth it. Probably gonna do it again all over.
Yeah, I was
this year.
gonna say, and
It's
you're gonna do
be
it, and you're gonna do it even farther away now.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking Laguna. Josh and I are going to Laguna Seca.
Jesus.
Literally, I mean, we're going to dive right into it. Fuck it. Josh and I just got back from PRI this year. Josh is a PRI virgin. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
see, we popped
Never
his
been.
cherry.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. But we went to the State of the Grid meeting where the full Grid Life schedule was announced. And when it was over, Josh and I kind of like looked at each other and I said, so are we going to go? And he goes, to Laguna Seca? I was like, yeah. Of course that's what I'm talking about.
You weren't talking about Watkins Glen?
I wasn't even. So, like, I know that, like, that's a track that people want to go to.
Uh-huh.
I genuinely don't know that I've ever looked at it with any interest, and I'm not going to. If my choice is upstate New York or California wine country,
Yeah, it's California.
to go to a racetrack and then not leave the fucking racetrack anyway, because that's what I do is I go to destination places where the racetrack is. I go straight in the gate and then I don't leave until I
Go home.
I'm gonna go to Laguna Seca.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I'm going to meet James Chartres.
Yep, I was
the
texting him today
world's
about it.
nicest man.
But he might not be able to make it because he's a busy guy.
If I can go all the way to Laguna Seca, he can come to Laguna Seca.
I would sure think so.
I mean, seriously.
You traveled all that way to see.
James, I'll get you a ticket. I got you, bro.
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
So, yeah, Laguna Seca. We're going to drift the corkscrew. People are
gonna
die. There's going to be a fit train drift taxi session
Oh,
through the corkscrew. People is going to die.
nothing bad can happen, Adam.
Not a thing.
Nothing bad happens at Grid Life. It's like Disney World. No
gonna
one
be-
dies at Disney World.
Off the hook.
Sure. I won't be there. Actually, I'm saying that now. I won't be there because I'll probably end up being there. If I say I'm not going to be there, then I'll be there.
Fuck yeah.
So I'm looking at the Grid Life schedules. They're going, well, cool. I get to go to fucking 2 of them. I mean, that's reality. I will probably make it to 2.
So
Maybe
Grid
3.
Life split up their stuff. There's a festival tour now, which are all the big weekends. Those will be streamed. Most of those events will be kind of like Lime Rock was, where there's no music,
Yep.
but there's all the motorsports. So there's GLTC, there's Time Attack, there's drifting. Those weekends are the points weekends for GLTC,
Yep.
plus CODA. So there's 7 points weekends for GLTC this year. And those weekends will have the new Time Attack format, which I don't quite understand. So if you want to learn it, you can read it in the rule book. And those weekends will have the streams.
Yes.
And then the club weekends will have the regular Time Attack format, the super grid format for the wheel-to-wheel portion,
Yep.
and most likely no drifting and no stream.
Yeah, no stream for sure.
No stream. So they're pretty sure that they're going to get to drift at the Glen,
That'd be cool.
which will be interesting. I'm pretty sure they're going to drift in Mid-Ohio,
Whoa.
which is going to be
Didn't they just resurface that like this year?
I don't know, man. But, like, drifting in Mid-Ohio sounds sketch.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's going to be dope.
No
to
one's ever
watch,
gotten
though.
hurt drifting.
And it sounds like we got a noise-free weekend at Laguna Seca.
For 2 of the days.
For 2 out of the 3 days. The third day is mostly DE and no competition.
Well, then it's still 105 is the decibel limit.
Right.
On the
day 3.
Yeah.
Which is still higher than
most
other tracks that we've dealt with sound limitation-wise. And then the club weekends are like more of the club level tracks. They're not quite so crazy. And honestly, most of those weekends are the ones I kind of want to go to. I see this picture you have pulled up here has the wrong race course for the Grid Life Heartland event.
Oh, yeah,
that
it does.
should be at Heartland Motorsports Park.
Yep.
In Topeka.
Yeah, they clearly
clearly
typoed that because Heartland Park is obviously in Topeka.
Right. So those weekends are the weekends where it's going to be more chill, more relaxed, just kind of hanging out. And the festival tour weekends are going to be the wild and crazy insanity. And Midwest Fest is the wild and crazy insanity that it always has been.
Yep.
Midwest Fest and Laguna sounds like the two.
Man, they did all sorts of typos in this because the Gingerman Raceway in New York, that's not a thing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that's wrong here. But Midwest Fest and Laguna Seca will be the two that have music. The rest of them will not have music.
I want to try to make it to the festival this year.
Also, notice there's no Alpine Festival on that list.
Yep.
So it sounds like they're still ironing out what they're going to do with Alpine, but it's going to probably be drift only.
That'd be okay.
Yeah.
I always had a good event there, except this year when it was freezing cold, but I'm fine with not going back.
I don't know why, but I didn't. This year especially, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this drive.
Yeah, the weather sucked.
It's not even the farthest we drive, and I
No.
still didn't want to do it that bad.
Well, the problem is I base mine off like what the WRL schedule is going to be,
Right.
which kind of limits what I can do with Grid Life. So,
Right.
which also is completely determined by whether or not we can get a transmission. So, whatever.
So, Josh and I were both like, "Fuck, man."
Yep.
Which ones? Like, if we could pick and choose which ones we went, there's like a few that I definitely want to do, and then there's a few that like I'd like to do, but it's just not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to do Laguna, but it's
I'd
a
love
24-hour drive.
Yeah, and I'd love to go to all 6 of the festival tours. Carolina Motorsport Park sounds rad. Chris Stewart after we went and recorded a podcast at the Airbnb that the Grid Life guys were at, and Stewart said he thinks that's going to be the breakout surprise event of the year, the spring kickoff at CMP.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Apparently they have a fucking bitchin' drift scene down there. They love drifting on that track. Apparently that's really cool. That's where they used to film Are You Faster Than a Redneck? Which is like my favorite TV show ever. I fucking love that show.
Do you really?
It's the best. Are
I
you
don't think
kidding
I've ever
me?
actually watched it.
Bro, it's on YouTube. Find
Yeah, I
it.
figured.
Watch it. It's great.
All right, I'll check it out.
It's a real good like background noise time waster. Like if you're doing something else
Oh,
and you just got a TV on,
like I do in the shop all the time?
it's probably not something you're going to sit down and watch
Okay.
with like real interest.
But it's good to have on and then kind of stop,
Yeah,
pay
just
attention
kind of
to,
like,
and then go back to what you're doing.
Did he really just say that? Because they like make fun of. It's a bunch of rednecks who are like supposed to be super into race cars,
Yeah, like us.
like muscle cars,
Oh.
and then they go around and they make fun of imports, and then half the time they get their shit stomped by them.
Okay, I'm in.
So it's pretty funny. They got these guys that are driving the muscle cars, and they're all like yoked out. Like the dudes like can't even put their arms by their sides because their muscles are too big.
Like the guys go to Gold's Gym.
Yeah, and I look at those guys and I'm like, you're not a good driver. You can't be.
You're physically limiting.
You have to
yourself.
shuffle. He has to shuffle. He has no option but to shuffle. He can't cross his arms. His muscles are too big.
Yeah, if you can't touch your left shoulder with your right arm,
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
You're not gonna be a good race car
It's gonna
driver.
limit your driving
Just
abilities.
not. And they always look at the people making the choices. They'll look at the car and be like, "Oh, I don't want to race that car." Like, no, take that guy. He can't turn a corner. I don't care what car he's in. That dude can't like turn the wheel fast enough to make that corner at any real pace.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, it was cool being in that room because he's like hitting the button and the next event comes up and people just cheering, right? Just and like they literally have to sit there and wait for 2 minutes for everyone to die down so that Chris can start talking again, because
Really?
people were so pumped about every time they announced a new track that they were going to this year. Like, oh yeah, we're going to CMP. Like, oh fuck yeah, everyone's excited. Like, yeah, and then we're going to Watkins Glen, and it just gets crazier, right? And like, shit, Watkins Glen, and then Laguna Seca was the last one he announced, and people just fucking lost it, dude. It's Laguna Seca. It's gonna be crazy.
Yep.
It's gonna be the best weekend.
Yep.
So
I'll probably be in like.
I told Katie
Florida.
that it's in wine country. And she's like, "Oh well, then I definitely have to go." And I was like, "We're gonna go straight to the track. We're gonna stay at the track. Then we're gonna go straight back home again." And she's like, "Well, I can just leave." And I was like, "We're probably gonna fly in, Katie. So we won't have a car. Like we're gonna go to the track. And we're gonna be stuck there all weekend."
Yeah, we're not going to see California. We're going
it's like,
to see Laguna Seca.
I've been to Pikes Peak for like 4 or 5 years in a row, and I've never left the racetrack, except for the last year when I took my family there for the week in advance.
Yeah.
And I still haven't gone up the Pikes Peak yet.
Oh, definitely do that.
I haven't. I mean, I did it when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it since.
Would recommend.
I had more fun at Red Rock, or the Gardens.
Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, that's
And
cool
the Cave
too.
of the Winds. That stuff is more interesting to me than a cold, rocky mountain.
Well, there's many mountains because you can see them all over.
I can see them from down low, too. They're all up high.
Now you want to be up high.
Nah, fuck it. So.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
we'll be at a bunch of those.
Or we won't be. I don't know.
I don't know.
Depends on if Robbie has a transmission or not.
Yeah, I could be at all of them. I don't.
Josh will probably be at 3 or 4 of them at least.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah. So.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going to be great. What else did you see at PRI, Josh?
We went through and just kind of went through everything, and we kind of joked about that too, because obviously, me being in the automotive business specifically,
Yeah.
of like going through the shops, and it's like, yeah, we deal with a lot of these, but I don't necessarily have anything I need to talk to them about. You know,
Right.
I don't have anybody that I directly deal with, so it's not like it's there's so and so from.
Well, and
whatever.
you're not buying bolts from ARP and buying, parts from. You're buying that stuff from your distributor.
Right.
So really,
right.
you need to talk to Turn 14 or whoever it is you use. More than you need to talk to the individual manufacturer for the most part.
Right. And I mean, for the most part, about one of the few people we stopped talking to, which is probably boring for most people, but we talked to the guys over at Fuel Injector Clinic, because they have, along with them, they have a side company that does injector cleaning, and we have one of their cleaners, so we
Right.
kind of went through and talked about direct injected stuff, like what their testing procedures are and everything like that, trying to figure out if that's something we need to do more of or not, kind of a thing. And apparently so. Apparently it's not that we have everything we need to do them.
Oh, well, there you
Let's
go.
go. Oh, okay. Well, this is easy enough then.
So, is that where you got that bitchin' USB drive?
Yeah.
So we went to the Haggerty party because we're fucking big time. Invite.
Yeah.
It's invite only.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have got invited.
I mean, yeah, you would have. But anyway, we were standing around the table drinking our free drinks and eating our free Hors d'Ivoires.
Excuse me.
Hors d'Ivoires. It's written right there on the.
Whore's divorce.
That's what it says, Robbie.
Okay.
That's literally the only way I'll pronounce it in Booney's presence, and I'm sure he'll fucking hate me for it.
You had me at horse.
Right.
Anyways.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Oh,
For those who are not
Oh.
unfollowing what I'm saying, which actually the food was like it wasn't in abundance,
yeah,
but it was pretty good.
I would imagine.
But anyway,
How many charcuterie boards were there?
all the Lunchables, Robbie.
Yes.
All the Lunchables. So Josh is like fiddling with something. He pulls it out of his pocket, and it's this giant, like, fake fuel injector keychain.
He doesn't have it, does he?
Right? He's looking for it. It's like 3 inches long or so.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit bigger. Like it's 1.5 sized fuel injector. Like it's not actually a fuel injector size, but it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, he's got a picture of it there for no one because
It looks like a fuel injector.
And then you pop one end off, and it's a fucking USB jump drive.
How many gigabytes?
Rad. I have no idea.
Oh,
But
like half a
and
megabyte.
and instantly, both Jacob and I, because I brought our buddy Jacob Wheeler, who we used to go kart with. He's a local SCCA buddy of ours, who I haven't seen in years. But both of us are like, dude, where'd you get that? And he's like, yeah, you're probably not going to get one. Fuck.
Oh, dang, that's 7.5 gigabytes.
Oh,
Nice.
It's a big one. It's got a lot of junk on it. I don't care about it either.
Oh, yeah, just
It's all the fuel injector stuff you're going to
control
delete.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to clear that right away.
That was pretty cool, though.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was like the real swag. That's the stuff you got to spend some money to get.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
not the stuff.
yeah, it's not
sitting
sitting-
at the
it's not
table
sitting on the
free.
table for everybody.
No. So, but yeah, I felt like this year there was a lot of diesel performance parts, or maybe a lot of booths that had diesel stuff. Now, full disclosure, Jacob is more a diesel guy than like you and I are, Robbie.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, it doesn't take much.
right. So he would get pulled into the diesel aisles or into the diesel booths more than you and I would. Whereas you and I would probably walk by most of that stuff and kind of glance at me like, oh, yeah, that's it.
That's a nice build. Yeah.
That's fucking wild. Those are like 320 millimeter turbos or whatever they are. He would like look at that stuff. So maybe it was more that I noticed them because he was looking at them than they were just more prevalent.
Makes sense.
But it seemed like this year was kind of really heavy in the diesel performance stuff. And also, I kind of noticed a lot of the booths that are companies that could have any form of motorsports car seemed like they picked drag cars more so than they picked road course cars in the years prior.
Let's say because in the last couple of years we made a comment about how many time attack cars and road course cars
And
there
a
were that
lot-
we didn't expect to see.
A lot less drift cars than I remember seeing in the past.
There was a lot of drift in 20.
The last time you went.
What the hell year was that? 2020?
Yes. Yes. that
Whatever the
would be-
last year I went.
Yeah. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
So there were a few drift cars here and there, but I don't specifically. Most of them that I saw were like feature cars that weren't sitting in booths. You know, like how they have cars
right.
just kind of sprinkled around the hallways and stuff like that. That was more where I saw the drift cars this year. There weren't nearly as many in booths as there have been in years past.
I don't think I hardly seen any in a booth.
I think there were one or two, but it was way less.
It'd be that. That's it.
Right.
I mean, there was.
So and it
Otherwise,
seemed
it
like
was.
you know, like Vibrant can have anything, right?
Yeah.
They're not tied down to any. Like they sell parts to literally anybody. They had a big crazy. I don't know if it was pro charged or big turboed, whatever. Mustang in there, and
They always have a really nice build.
yeah, and it was a really cool car. Don't get me wrong, but like a lot of that kind of booth where they could have anything seemed like they chose drag car more often than they didn't this year.
Huh. That's what I would have expected, and then I was always surprised how like I won't say little, but like how less prevalent than I expected it to be.
Right.
And see, whereas this was more of what I expected, seeing more of the drags car.
Right,
side
it
of
is what you expect, but in years past, it hasn't always been the case.
So is this gigantic GMC pickup that's basically a body?
It's a fake body on top of a tube frame
Yes.
with an all-billet triple turbo setup.
That's a tractor pulling.
It's a tractor pulling truck,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, there were a shockingly large number of of pulling rigs there. There were at least 2 tractors pulling.
actual
pullers.
tractors?
Yeah,
No
like
shit.
actual tractor pullers. And then I mean there were 2 or 3 of these truck setups.
Wild.
That was actually a shockingly prevalent thing too, which I thought was rad.
Yeah, because those builds are always insane.
Well, so I learned that I love watching that way more than I thought I did this year, like we had talked about earlier this year. I learned that that's apparently I have a bit wider redneck streak than I had originally thought I did.
We do live in Iowa.
I mean, we went in Rome, right?
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We gotta fit in.
But yeah, those were it's wild seeing those things.
Yup.
There was a lot of all billet diesel motors there. A lot of all billet diesel motors.
That's another industry that like the money doesn't make sense to me. The
mean-
tractor pulling money.
Racing money.
I know. I walk around the WRL paddock and the Grid Life paddock, and I'm looking at it going, "How? Explain this to me. None of this makes fucking sense."
Well, I mean, we could walk out in your garage and, I mean, you yourself can say like, this This just doesn't make any sense.
No, I can tell you that this is stupid, but like it's all paid for out of pocket. But like you're walking through the WRL paddock, and you're like, that's a $500,000 hauler next to a $500,000 hauler with like $1 million for the cars next to it. Like it's fucking crazy money.
Yeah,
these Pro-Am series that we're racing in is fucking ridiculous right now.
We kind of talked about this before, and I think this is something we need to think about a little more. But like, at what point do you stop calling something grassroots?
Now,
where do you transition from grassroots to Pro-Am?
When there's sponsorship money.
Yeah, I feel like that's a question we need to have Scott on.
Yeah, that needs to be a proper.
We need to have Scott and maybe even Jabay.
Yep.
And ask them, like, where do we draw this line? When do we stop calling Grid Life a grassroots motorsports series?
Now, I'm saying you cannot say it anymore.
I'm with you. I don't disagree.
You can't say it.
And I don't say that as a knock either.
No. It's grown to that level.
I think that's a sign of success. But there is a point where you got to stop calling it that.
Yep. WRL's not a grassroots. You have IMSA teams using it as like to bring other cars to test bed for their IMSA teams. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know where we were.
Tractor pulling.
Diesel trucks.
There was one of them that I think might be. So do you remember here a couple months ago, there's like this big diesel competition, drag racing competition, and they have a dyno that they bring out, an all-wheel drive dyno that they bring out, and they try to like set dyno world records, and one of them blew up catastrophically on the dyno.
I saw a video of one not too long ago. Like,
I think that one with an engine put back in it, but the front end like still
destroyed,
just like all burned up and shit was there.
I'm assuming you didn't take a picture of it?
No, I didn't take a picture.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
There was a drag car. I think it was a Camaro. It was blue. There's a picture of this in here somewhere, Robbie, so you can find
Nova?
it.
There's like 700
Was it a Nova?
pictures.
I thought it was a Nova. I could be wrong.
There was a diesel car.
Yeah, it had a
and
big
the
old
front
diesel motor.
the front fender there, Robbie. The front fender, like the paint had melted off.
Yeah, like
Did
actually
you see
melted.
that? Like
I
it's
didn't look at it. I
legit
didn't look at it that
melting
closely, I
off.
Which is kind of funny because like there's like no discoloration to the exhaust components. Like you would think that'd be all like different colors.
In my head, and this is probably not true, in my head, diesel exhaust should be cooler.
Still hot as fuck.
But I see people with bullhorns out the fenders all the time, and the paint's not melted on their drag car. Shit, they got vinyl wrap that's not melted. So I wonder if that's corrosion.
I wonder if it's fake.
From rolling coal.
I wonder if it's fake.
I don't know.
The angle doesn't seem quite right.
Well, he's going fast, Robbie.
But like you'd still like the top of the fender should have some too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to believe it's real, so we're going to say it's real.
It's PRI, Robbie. This isn't SEMA.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah,
oh, really? Really?
There was a couple.
How many drive shafts were disconnected there too, huh?
Just one that I saw.
That's more than we would expect.
To be fair, that truck was built like in the last week.
Yeah, that is true.
So there was a mid-engine C10. No, it wasn't a C10. Robbie, I took pictures and didn't even send them to you because I didn't plan on talking about it.
Damn it!
Because I didn't want to talk bad about it.
But you're gonna.
Well, I'm not. No, I'm going to try and defend him. It's not in here, Robbie. Don't even look.
Yeah, but Josh took like 700 pictures for me.
I did take it.
Good for Josh.
You did or didn't?
No, it's not in there.
Jacob took pictures.
So there was a
might
truck.
be a Jacob.
There was an orange, like, square body. Josh, wait. What generation is yours?
That had to have been like a mid-90s.
What is that? What yours is?
Yeah, what was.
Was your old one, the one you just sold, isn't
Past
it?
tense.
But they had made it mid-engine, and then it's just like engine transmission, like it's a racing sequential box like yours, where the drive shaft
broken?
just. I mean, probably no, because he hasn't put it together
Maybe.
yet. But he didn't have any drive shafts in it yet. But apparently, they had like literally been thrashing this truck together over the last week just to get it to PRI, which actually, like, I'm glad they did, and I understand it and fine, whatever, but it kind of makes me sad because I always felt like people didn't have the PRI crunch like they have the SEMA crunch,
Right.
and I don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want to start that to be a thing.
No, I want
well,
people to just take their race car that they've been running all season and bring it to PRI.
Well, the problem is,
Just however it is.
yeah. So that's the problem is like, if let's say race season ends in November,
don't
and you
want
start
a show car.
you start tearing it down.
I just want race cars, Robbie.
I understand. That's why mine's in like 1,000 pieces right now.
But guys with real budgets don't have to tear their cars apart like that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Total refresh
They don't.
every winter.
They do it once.
Every
built it.
once
And then they build
year.
a new car.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Josh, did you see I think they calls it like an LMP 360 or something like that? The $2,000 Grassroots Motorsports Challenge
Yes.
winner for this year. Did you see that car?
I looked at it a little bit.
Have you seen it before? Like
No.
in pictures and stuff like that? Did you know it existed
I
already?
knew about it. Yes.
So
I should say beforehand.
I've never followed the $2,000 challenge that closely.
I have surprisingly.
I've kind of like, okay, that looks cool, but it's not really my thing.
I don't know how long I've spent in the forums, like just
Really?
lurking.
Really?
Oh yeah, like just like following people.
Have you followed it that
So
close, Josh?
I lurked on this.
haven't.
I lurked on
I
this
knew
car a
about
lot.
it, and but none of the cards have like really stood out like this one.
Right, and the format doesn't interest me that much.
Really?
No, because I want prior to this car, this is the type of car that I want. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But like prior to this car, that stuff didn't exist at the $2,000 challenge. So somebody took a Subaru 360, which is such a weird little car, and they turned it into like this.
because they got it for like $1.
Well, they had to have.
Yes.
And they turned it into this thing that looks like a full-fledged LMP car. And when I say full-fledged LMP, I mean it's got underbody aero, it's got a huge fucking wing, it's got a giant diffuser, it's got the tunnels behind the front wheels. I mean, it is full on a race car.
There's very little left of the Subaru.
I mean, it is a tube chassis race car. And like built at any budget, this car is so flippin' awesome. And I've looked at it in pictures before. I get Grassroots Magazine in my mailbox once a month. I've seen the pictures of the car. I've seen the videos of the car. Nothing prepared me for how flippin' amazing this thing is in the real life.
Yeah, the dude was not messing around.
It's so cool.
It's really. If you ever get a chance to go on the Grassroots Motorsports forums,
Right.
and find his build thread,
Yeah.
because it goes from when he has just like the shell that he got for $1 or whatever, and then he shows like his what's the Google one? Not SolidWorks obviously, but like the SketchUp.
Oh, SketchUp.
Yeah.
I used to build stereo
So
boxes.
he drew this in SketchUp,
What?
like the baby blue color and everything.
What?
So he's like, here's my concept, and this was like years ago when he first started talking about this. So it's in SketchUp. It's like
Now I gotta go look.
You're looking at
Now I have
the
to
beginning page of the forum. You're like, he fucking did it. Like he drew it years ago. And
That's
then
one of those where you
fucking
look
did
at when he made that post, there were so many people like, oh yeah,
Yeah, totally,
sure.
guy.
And then they
for
just
sure.
clicked on to the next post, right? Like, and here we are, 2022.
Yep.
This, I promise you, that car would not have happened without a lockdown.
Probably not. No.
COVID created that, and you know what?
Good.
Worth it. Worth it. That thing was cool. I loved it.
It's definitely a stretch on how you can make a car for $2,000, but it's
So the
can
rules are that like everything has to cost $2,000. You can sell stuff
Yep.
to get money back, so you can kind of build that budget out a little bit. But all in cannot cost you more than $2,000. But like, if you can get the labor done for free, then the labor is free. If you do the work yourself, then the labor is free. All that stuff doesn't count towards the build.
Yep.
If you can do it yourself.
And there's a lot of hand molded stuff.
So like,
on this
yeah,
car.
he's got tons of hand laid fiberglass, and there's a lot of Home Depot plywood construction going on here. But there's a picture I took of the windshield. It's literally held in with like pieces of metal that are just like
little angle pieces.
yeah, they're just little angle brackets that he screwed to the original sheet metal of the car, and then they just stick over the windshield enough that the windshield doesn't fall out.
Good enough.
I mean, there's like when you get down and close to it, you see like, oh yeah, this car was built for $2,000. So like
right.
there's some spots where he clearly skimped on stuff.
Yeah. Just,
And like, okay, fine, whatever.
there it is.
But because he had to.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I mean, he built it for $2,000. But it's cool. It's ingenuity at its finest. Maybe I was a little less interested in this racing series than I should have been.
Yes. No, it's always intrigued
At
me.
one point, it was strongly dominated by turbo Dodge cars. So, I mean, maybe I should have been more interested in it than I had given it credit for. But it's a wild thing.
Yeah, but now people are going to keep doing this. It's going to get crazier and crazier.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. This guy set a precedence.
Also, this is an event, from what I've gathered, that you should not expect to build a car and go and win.
Yes.
You should expect to evolve your car over years to get to the point where the pointy end of the stick is for some of these people.
Yeah, it'll be shockingly competitive.
Well, and you just
a competitive event.
the amount of development time that some of these people have in the cars they've been using for years, like you can't just build a car and go race it and win.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you can just build a car and go race it. And I'm sure that it is probably the most fun you'll have for $2,000 or less. But you should not expect to come out swinging for the fences and win.
No.
Year one. But still cool. One of my favorite things I saw this year at the show.
Couldn't agree more.
A breakout surprise for me, honestly. So,
Well, is it really though?
I mean, I didn't expect it to be there.
I mean, it's a prototype, so I mean, kind of, or prototype looking.
You know me. The bigger and wilder the arrow is, the more I love it, even if it isn't functional. That's
You know,
good.
the other prototype you wanted to see, or was there, you didn't want to see.
That's true.
You didn't care about the hypercar?
Because that guy's a jerk.
Yeah, because he sold his cool car and bought an LMP2 car.
I don't think he sold it. I think he still has it.
Well, he
What
had
happened?
it for sale. So, year one Super Lab battle. If you'll remember, long-time listeners will remember that I made the statement that the coolest car at Super Lab battle year one was an NC Miata.
Oh, yeah.
That guy bought an LMP2 car,
I don't blame him.
which is way lamer than the bitchin' NC Miata that he had. Because, like, okay, yeah, it might even be faster than the Miata. I don't know or care. You expect it to be fast. It's an LMP car. It's a
Right.
prototype car. It better fucking be fast. You better do sub 140s at Gingerman. That's all I'm saying. But it's not as cool.
Isn't it, though?
No, Robbie, it's not.
Absolutely not.
I don't even like Miatas that much. You know how I feel about Miatas. Josh is the Miata guy.
That's why I'm biased. So
That's
I'll
not
just
it.
open this
That's
picture
not
of
it,
a
but it's
hypercar.
fun. That was in the Penske booth.
Oh, I'm shocked.
It's an LMP
Hypercar. Yeah, it's a new.
Yeah,
It's a GTP car.
is that what they call them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a BMW prototype. It's neat.
don't care.
Yes, it's the new generation.
What I think is funny about those cars, so like everybody in road racing, like grassroots stuff to pro-am stuff, like what
Yeah,
we do.
what we do.
Right,
Pro-Am.
pro-am stuff. they're always cutting fenders and then putting vents in and stuff like that, you know?
Yep.
And like they're spending all this money and there's a company that like that's what they sell is these louver kits, and they spend all this money going to wind tunnels to prove how they work and all this stuff. This is like one of the fastest cars on the fucking planet.
Yep.
It's an LMP1 car essentially with like the craziest hybrid drivetrain and like 1 billion hours of sim time and 1 billion hours of wind tunnel testing time. And you know what they have on the top of their fenders? A big fucking hole.
Yep. Just a big opening.
It doesn't even have a gurney flap on the front of it. It's just a big hole.
Yep.
We put way too much effort into this.
Just trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Fuck it. Just cut a big hole in the fender. You know what? Just take it off.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Can't trap air in the fender if it's not on the car.
Yep. Speed holes, Adam. I like how they have the cockpit completely
That's
blacked
because
out.
it's empty.
They don't want anyone to see what's in there.
It's empty. I bet. I bet there's not even an engine in that car. It's just a roller.
Yeah, I bet it is too.
I bet there's not even
for how much development they need yet.
I bet there's not even Penske shocks in there. I bet it's just solid.
No,
It's just sitting there.
no, I bet they.
Does it
got
even roll? Did they carry it in?
That's a good question.
Did they carry it in?
Well, it probably weighs enough that 4 people could carry it in there.
Oh,
so.
yeah, dude. If that's an empty shell with no engine in it, that car weighs like 48 pounds.
It's a wild car. I'm disappointed how most of them look very similar to each other, though.
Did you expect them not to?
Well, the intent of the GTP class and the hypercar class was that they were going to be a little bit more like the old days, where every car would be, cars that they're going to make into production cars.
Right.
But the problem is they have to use the same monocoque, so now they're all like very similar designs.
Well, but then also when we live in a world where Mercedes-Benz made the AMG 1 and Aston Martin makes the Valkyrie and
the Vulcan
and all those other crazy cars that they make. Like, yeah, that could be a production car. Why not?
Yeah, sure.
Why can't that be a production car?
Well, that's what annoys me is like BMW is going to make this a production car, but so is Acura and Toyota and Porsche and like all these other cars. Like, it's just they're very similar. The only car that's different is the Peugeot.
Are they actually going to build them?
Supposedly.
Like,
I don't know if that's a thing.
Do
like,
they have to homologate, like build 40 of them?
I thought that's what they were doing.
Because like I have a hard time believing that Acura can sell 50 of those.
Dude, I bet they'd have a wait list. Every single one of them. In this day and age,
I hate the world we live in.
people have too much fucking money, man.
I hate the world we live in.
They're all $3 million a piece, and they sell out before they even have a final design. That's the world we live in.
Well, the sticker price is $3 million. They sell for 10.
Whatever they sell for.
They sell for at least 6.
Either way. Yeah, I don't know if they're actually going to homologate them, but I thought that was the intent originally.
I hope they do.
I hope so too. That's the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Plus, how sick would it be to see a street version of the Peugeot?
I mean, I think the Cadillac looks good.
Yes, the Cadillac does
I like
look
the
good.
Cadillac.
But it's very similar to the BMW.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Also, we'll never see a street version of the Peugeot
God, I wish so.
because we don't get Peugeots.
True.
So
Street version of everything, man. That's what I want.
Honestly, I think they should start with the street car.
I'll be right with that.
I don't care if they're slower.
Yeah.
I think we could slow racing down and it wouldn't be worse.
No, I mean, GLTC has proven a 200 horsepower car is
You can
plenty
slow
fun to
down
watch.
overall pace and not screw up the racing as long as the racing continues to be competitive.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, if NASCAR went 160 instead of 200, but they were built on factory chassis, that's more interesting.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Street cars.
Yep.
You know, like the drag racers.
Everything's a street car.
You know, like the drag racers.
Yeah, totally.
This year was definitely the year of the air quote street car. There was a lot of drag week cars and sick week cars and Rocky Mountain Race Week cars. Is that all of them? Is there just 3 of those at this point?
I think so.
Of the big name ones.
Right,
Robbie,
right.
calm down.
I'm calm.
He paused. There's a back.
No, it's because it's on fucking rollers.
I told you the car is fake.
They're not even letting the tires touch the ground.
So he paused on the. There's a
Look at
behind shot of the BMW car.
Look
and
at
it.
there's casters in the diffuser tunnels.
it. Look at it, Adam. Just look at it.
It's too complicated, Robbie.
It's not
It's
complicated
too busy.
enough.
It's too busy.
No,
That's not a big enough wing.
no, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, it does.
Ground effects.
I mean, you're not wrong. They don't have vents in those wheel wells either. Just got a big hole cut in the top of those wheel wells too.
That's so the OPR goes behind him to the person behind
Fuck
him.
it. We're putting way too much thought into these fender vents. Just cut a big hole.
Yeah, to heck with it.
Heck with
Sawzall, everything.
Dalton.
I
Now,
was just gonna say that. Okay, Dalton.
now is your time. Your time to shine, Dalton. So, what was your favorite thing you saw then, Josh?
I did really like. I don't
narrow
have
down
a
a
picture,
favorite.
so Robbie's gonna be pissed.
That's fine.
Son
Fuck
of a
Robbie.
bitch.
But
Son of a bitch.
Haltex booth, they had that Datsun 240 in there.
Oh, there is
Oh,
pictures
there's
of that.
Josh. Jacob took pictures
Okay.
of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
So that car
thing
we have
was
seen
sick.
before
Yep.
at Super Lab Battle. But since the last time that Josh and I saw it, it's gotten a bit of an upgrade in the aero department.
In the carbon fiber department.
Yeah, it's all carbon
All of
fiber.
it.
There were more than one car there that was just carbon fiber from head to toe. The
Yep.
Forge Line booth had that
The GT.
Ford GT. Josh, what were you saying
Those
about
are-
those?
Those are wild. Like apparently, from what I was told, they started like those were original cars from 05, and there's like 32 of them, I believe, and they're all being built just like that, to be sold.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal.
I read that somewhere too.
So they have like 1,500 horsepower or something stupid.
Yep. Did you see they have like 3 aim dashes in it? They got
Yeah.
2 big 12-inch aim dashes on the dash, and there's
Yeah.
another aim dash in the steering wheel. Like Jesus,
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't understand why.
Seems unnecessary.
I mean,
aggressive.
there's a lot of things that seem unnecessary about that whole car. That's kind of the name of the game, is unnecessary. In that
I went the wrong
particular
direction.
setup.
Hold
I
on.
see that. He'll get there.
Jacob gave me lots of pictures.
He
then
did give
then
us
I went.
lots of
Then I went
pictures.
the wrong direction.
He looked more professional media than I did.
I'm shocked.
A couple people made a comment to him about how professional he looked because he had kind of an expensive camera around his neck.
Yeah.
And he felt really weird about I think he felt really self-conscious about that.
Why? Because he had a proper camera.
Had two
Because
nice of a camera.
because people actually made a comment about it.
What he should just what you should do is just walk up, just slap his big dick camera
Yeah.
on the table and go, you know what, get the fuck out of my way.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
then take your picture.
Jacob
And then
has literally never told anybody that in his life. He's far too polite for that.
He's very Midwestern.
He's a very polite young man.
Yes. We need to teach him.
I haven't hung out with him in
He's
years.
a good dude.
He's fun to hang out with.
Yeah, I remember.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he needs to walk around PRI with his big camera and just be like, I have big camera energy. Get out of my way.
Yeah. Flashing that 1010s podcast badge.
Yeah.
So
It gets you places, man.
because he had just a general badge, but he put 1010s on it because he
Nice.
didn't know what else to put as a company.
Right.
But since he wasn't media, we couldn't go in early
Oh.
because Friday and Saturday, and probably Thursday too, I don't remember. The show opens at 9, but if you're a media member, you can go in at 8.
Yep.
So you can go in there and get pictures of stuff when there's not 11 billion people in there. And I was like, oh man, we could have got you in there early. If I'd have known that this jerk over here to across the table from me was going to bail out, I was like, you could have been Robbie Veerhout this weekend. That's what I would have done.
Actually, Jess and I both got our things in the mail saying, sign up and we can get them to you in the mail.
Yeah.
We obviously didn't.
I mean, we can still sign him up as Michael Beck. That's still an option.
Yep.
We still get that email every year.
Every year.
So, posthumously.
R.I.P.
There it is.
So, Friday night, we went to the Haggerty party, kind of discussed that.
Yeah.
So it was at a place called The Silo,
Never heard of it.
which is like a rich guy car storage facility downtown in Indianapolis.
We did
And-
not belong.
No, we were most of the people that were there were in business casual and up. And then me and Josh and Josh's boss and Jabay and the Grid Life guys walking around in
T-shirts.
and sweatshirts.
Bums.
And Chris Stewart's wearing a flannel and a Hawaiian t-shirt underneath, he's fucking Chris Stewart,
That seems like something he would do, yeah.
and Ross Bentley's walking through there in a really nice pressed shirt
Polo,
and
yeah.
pleated pants and and the whole 9 yards.
I can picture it.
Yeah. We did not fit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as crazy as I expected it to be. Don't you think?
I guess maybe.
There were some cool
we
cars
didn't-
in there. Don't get me wrong.
We didn't sit in the pool table area. Which I
No,
think
there
would
was
be the
so
higher
there's a
class
big
area.
garage area, right?
Yeah.
And they had a couple tables in the garage area that you could stand at. And that's of course where we posted up.
Oh, like the high tops.
High top
Yeah.
standing tables. And of course that's where we posted up. But then on the other side of the wall from the garage was a bar and mingling area.
Okay. With pool tables?
I don't know. I never.
Yeah, there was a pool table. There was a couple other random things in there, just for
I never even went in there. That was where you went to get. So when we walked in there, so you had to sign up ahead of time. You had to get an invite, and that invite would give you a link, and then that link would take you to Motorsport Reg, which was really weird.
Okay.
And you would sign up on Motorsport Reg.
Yep.
And then when you got there, you tell them your name, and they'd give you got 2 drink tickets for every entry. And so that's where the drinks were, but Josh and I are lamos, so we didn't even go in there.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have either.
So we made like a lap around the cars, and there's your typical like Porsches, and there was an Audi R8 V10 Plus in there, and there were a couple of Lambos in there. There was, frankly, the highlight of the entire thing. There was a Callaway C4 Corvette in there.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was rad.
It's really cool. It's because you didn't take a picture of it.
Well, my phone was dead, Robbie. That was the end of the day. My phone was dead. You know this.
Yep.
BMW 2002 Turbo, which everybody learned is on my short list of BMWs I'd actually own.
Neat. Whatever.
I mean, I don't really get the
yes,
the BMW thing
I can't get excited about it.
You know how I feel about it. There was a Diablo in there that was fucking rad.
I would have got excited about that.
Yeah, that was cool to see. But like for the most part, while they were high-end cars or expensive cars for the most part, they weren't like super rare or really crazy.
Yeah, you're not looking at like one of 3 Koenigsegg's or whatever.
Right. There wasn't anything anywhere close. And then like even the cars that were there that weren't super expensive, they weren't like super interesting either.
Oh.
Like the BMW 2002 was probably the most interesting, not super expensive car. Not super car.
I can see that.
But yeah, it was cool. It's definitely like a rich guy. So what I assume it is, because it's right there off on the edge of downtown Indianapolis. So my guess is that you've got a couple of rich car guys who own apartments or something like that, in downtown Indianapolis. And they have their daily drivers that they pay an absurd amount of money to park in their parking garage every month. And then this is where they keep their fun car they go grab on weekends. It's probably what happens for the most part.
Yeah, I assume this is like one of those. It's half club, half storage.
Right. It's a social get together place that also you can keep your car in.
I assume
it wasn't actually like outrageously priced, because we were looking at pricing when we were sitting there.
Really, I didn't realize that. That's kind of funny.
It wasn't outrageous, or it wasn't
as much as you expect it would be. Haggerty's somehow involved in it.
Okay,
right.
They probably
so the membership with no car is $95 a month. And then if you want a car in there, it's $265, and I don't know if that's plus the 95 or if that's included.
Even if that's plus the 95,
that's still not as high as I expect.
It's not outrageous
for downtown of any like relatively well-populated city in this country. That's pretty fucking cheap parking, especially when you're parking a 911.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you could just like come and go and take it, and like if there's rules on when you can move the car, and
or
if it's treated like a garage.
I don't know. There were some kind of like Jabay would point out these people like, oh, that guy's such and such, and he owns this fucking racetrack. And we're like, oh, that's weird. And like Ross Bentley was there, which is weird.
He's at a lot of the things that we go to.
He is the fucking coolest dude, though.
Yeah, he's super nice. The nicest guy.
I didn't talk to him at all.
It happens.
So, but yeah, it was kind of fun to like get to go to the Haggerty party. Mm-hmm. It was not nearly as much of a party as I anticipated it to be.
No, just a bunch of rich guys standing around.
It's definitely the tamest party that Josh's boss has ever attended after PRI.
That's probably fair.
Because he's used to going out with drag racers and getting all tore up and doing dumb shit and throwing lime scooters over streetlights and that sort of thing.
So, funny story, I guess that night they were trying to get a hold of Jordan. We couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah.
They didn't get up
Jordan
the next
Sharp,
day.
former podcast guest.
Yep.
Because like Peter Baum, Joey was with him and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that whole crew was out together that night. They didn't wake up till 5:00 p.m. the next day.
Whoa!
Like, are you kidding me?
So it's probably better that they didn't get a hold of him. Is that what you're telling me?
Probably.
So, yeah, Joey was kind of there,
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think he didn't enjoy himself, but I'm sure it was not the crowd he's used to, like, going and hanging out with at PRI. Yeah, I think he enjoyed himself, but I don't think that's the night he's used to dealing with. Because he's, like, telling us about crazy nights they've had at strip clubs at PRI in the past and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's not the night we're living right now, is it?
No.
But, I mean, that's the shenanigans that people probably want me to get into, but I ain't fucking happening.
No.
When Tommy and Dalton aren't there, it's not going to get too crazy. I was really disappointed because I was genuinely looking forward to taking Dalton to Dick's Last Resort this weekend.
Oh yeah,
we had all agreed that we were going to go.
Yep.
Like we were ready to be ridiculed because I assume that like if we're ridiculing Dalton, they're going to latch onto Dalton, and most of that's going to go at Dalton. And probably E-Man.
Yeah, because there's no way. It's actually going to backfire and go completely opposite, for sure.
Right, they're going to sit there and make fun of me and Josh the whole time.
Oh, the whole time.
That's probably true.
But we didn't go.
Yeah. Did you eat any good food while you were there?
Waffle House.
Besides Waffle House?
Thursday night when we got there at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, checked into our hotel, and then we went and ate at a local bar and grill that was right down the street.
Okay.
It was okay. I wasn't like super thrilled with it. The places that we've gone to in the past were far enough away from our hotel that I was like,
yeah, forget it.
Like I really wanted to go to that Kuma Burger or whatever it was.
Yep.
I texted E-Man and I asked him what the name of that place was because I couldn't remember, and I was kind of like Googling my half memory.
Yeah, I never would have got it.
Was not pulling up, right? And so he sent me the link to it, and I was like, okay, thanks. Just wanted to make sure I didn't go. He's like, yeah, sure. I'm sure that's what it was. Which I did want to go, but it was like 15 miles away. And I was like,
it's not that far.
It's a long ways because we had been in the car all fucking day at that point.
Yeah.
And like, I'm tired because I'm an old man.
At 6:30, yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. Tired, Robbie.
And
Did you even drive?
The city.
I drove for a little while.
Oh,
I drove
okay.
most of the way home, too.
Oh.
I drove for a little while on the way there, though. Jacob has a 2020 or 2021 Corolla XSE hatch with a 6-speed.
That sounds fun.
So I drove that for a little. It's a nice little car. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I mean, it's no Chrysler Pacifica, don't get me wrong. But, like, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah. But they got you there safe and sound.
Yeah, we almost crashed it.
We?
Well, I wasn't driving.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with we.
Fair enough.
So we were turning into the Haggerty into the silo, which is a weird name for a car storage facility. But
plus, it's not even round.
Yeah, I don't even know that there was a silo there. They're probably like, oh, city folk. They don't even know what that is. We'll just name it that. It'll feel Midwestern. They had no Iowa boys were coming though.
Yeah, we knew.
So we're turning into that place, and there's a guy coming off the side street that you got to turn into to then get into the parking lot. And he's coming off the side street and turning left into our lane, and he went way early. And Jacob had to like saw the wheel real hard to the right to keep from hitting this guy. And he drove right over the curb.
Jeez.
And just fucking smashed the curb. And I thought for sure that like
something broke.
Tires were popped, wheels are broken, under tray is gone, side skirts are smashed, just from what it sounded like, I was like, this car's fucked.
We ain't getting home.
And like, this is a very nice car. The newest by a huge margin, the newest thing that Jacob's ever owned, because Jacob is as bad as me when it comes to buying cars from the early 2000s.
Yep.
And just pretending that those are perfectly reasonable daily drivers. So we get parked and we get out, and none of the tires are flat. None of the wheels were even curb rashed because we went straight over the curb. So the tire took all that. We didn't hit. He just drove right up on it, and the bumper had popped out. But he was able to push it back in, and it seems like it's going to stay.
Okay.
And the under tray underneath the front was kind of fucked up, but he was able to fix that with some zip ties when we got home.
Oh, nice.
On Sunday. And he said it,
minor.
Yeah. Like it's not worth turning into insurance or anything like that. I'm sure if you got like down on your hands and knees
Yeah,
and looked at the like, there's a bunch of paint scraped up on the side skirt, but like when you stand there and look at it, you can't see it. And I ran my hand across the bottom of it; it didn't even like
Couldn't feel it.
pinch on a pinch weld or crease anything. I mean, from what it sounded like to what we got, he got off pretty easy.
That's good.
He was clearly upset about it and totally justifiably so, but it ended up being a whole lot less worse than it could or should have been.
Yeah.
So it was scary.
Yeah, that's a great way to
We
go on a
almost
weekend.
died.
Yeah.
At like 2 miles an hour, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. But still, it would have sucked.
It's the last thing you want to deal with.
Right. So, back at the show, because we're going to jump everywhere here. It's
Yeah,
going to be great. Fuck Robbie. There was a boat. Did you see this boat?
Speedboat?
Did you see this speedboat
Like
thing?
a cigarette boat?
It was in the back of the trailer area in the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Did you see this fucking thing?
I just assume that's from the Lake of the Ozarks.
So
That's
it's
not-
like 40 foot long or something like that.
Yeah, it's a big cigarette boat.
Right, but it carries like 2 people.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
that's what speedboats do.
Well, it needs to go 100 miles an hour.
It has 2, I think they were 1,200 horsepower V16 Mercury engines.
Neat.
So this V16, it uses 1 long block, but it uses 4 LS cylinder heads. Which is just
The wildest.
bad shit. Naturally aspirated. I think it was either 12 or 1,400 a piece. Crazy.
It blows my mind the number of boats like this that are at the lake.
Just tooling around on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes. No, Jess was telling me one time because she used to work at those docks, and so she
yeah.
would gas people up or fuel, whatever.
I don't even want to know what that thing
Somebody would
costs.
roll in on Saturday,
Yeah.
put $5,000 worth of gas in their
Cigarette
boat or whatever. They'd come back the next day,
and fill her back
fill
up.
her back
again.
up again.
Fuck me.
Fucking unreal.
Maybe there was just 2 of those boats, Robbie.
No. If you think racing in cars is expensive, fucking boat racing, man. That's crazy money. None of the money makes sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense.
Even at grassroots level.
That's not grassroots, right?
Not even a little.
That's not even pro am.
Nah.
That's fucking you made it, bro.
Yep. That's drug money. That's smuggling cocaine across the
Miami
border.
drug money.
Yeah, that's flying drugs across from Colombia money.
They're not flying, they're boating them.
No. That's rookie. You fly it in. Everyone knows that. You get caught in a boat.
That's fair. It was cool to see, though. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. I want to go to the shootout and watch them actually compete.
That would be a neat weekend, yeah.
But it's always on a weekend we have something going on.
Well, yeah, because we have something going on every weekend, Robbie.
That's fair.
I'm like legitimately excited about the fact that I don't have anything I absolutely need to be at until March.
Besides family stuff, like Christmas.
Yeah, I'm totally going to that. No, I'm not that much of a deadbeat. But if I could talk my way out of it, you bet your fucking ass I would.
As soon as both of those cars in that shop are like basically together, I'll feel that way. Because right now I am in that shop every fucking day.
Right.
So it was nice to not go to PRI and just get away.
Yeah. I don't have anything to do till Super Lap. I'm just like,
I have nothing but things
I'm
to
on
do.
cruise control. It's great.
You want to do some wrenching?
Not really, no, Robbie.
All right, well.
If I was going to wrench, I'd do it on my own shit.
Do it!
I got a van on a jack stand in my driveway, Robbie.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No, it's not.
Not a little bit.
No, it's not. We're not going to talk about that this week.
No.
Josh, you on Saturday, before you flew home, you went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, right?
Yes. So we went in there, and I didn't know that was because Joey, my boss, was telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like in the Speedway," and I'm like, "Oh, so yeah, we pull into the Speedway
And
then went through the tour of their little setup that they have there."
So they have like a full-fledged museum in there, right?
Right. And I'm not an indie person per se,
No.
but I found it really interesting.
Well, yeah. There's
it was
some crazy
super neat
ass
to go
shit in
through.
there.
And I was probably more interested in some of the old stuff where I'm like, these people were insane.
Yeah.
That's because seatbelts just get you in trouble. That's because you can get flung from the car. It's safer over there.
It's better to get thrown away from the car than it is to be stuck with it when it's tumbling end over
if you're
end.
in the car, you burst into flames.
Yeah.
They were born different. That's all.
They don't all have Dusty to put them out when the fire starts.
Yeah.
It's like in the one picture, there's an interior shot of one where it's like an old school. They were like 40s, 50s, Indy cars. And the shifter, like the trans is still in between your legs.
Yeah.
And there's still a shifter coming out of it.
Yeah.
So there's like an angled shifter coming out
like
where
reach down
you were still shifting.
underneath the steering wheel to grab that thing and shift.
That is so not the best place to put the shifter either.
No, not at all. They're just looking at that stuff.
And of course, it's left-handed too.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh shit! I always see it. I thought it was like literally he was reaching down. I thought it was like a 4-inch long rod, and he was like literally reaching down between his legs. But it's not. It's
No.
It's extended and up like crooked. It's kind of just right behind the steering wheel, isn't it?
It's like probably touching your knee on the inside.
Right.
Yeah, you probably have to push your knee out when you're downshift or when you're in the gears on the bottom of the H.
Yep.
That's crazy. They're all crazy though.
Yeah, they were wild.
I mean, going any speed around that track that most of those cars do is crazy.
Well, I like how the steering wheel has just like a big metal Maserati like emblem in it, so that when you lean forward, you smash your nose against it and you fucking die.
Well, you are the
hit the guy in front of you.
So
Yep.
maybe dying was the point.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts probably a lot less if you die.
It hurts way less because hospitals weren't that good back then.
No.
It's just better if you die.
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to hurt for a long time.
So long.
Until you die.
You're gonna hurt all the way to when you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Man.
Yeah, so then it was really interesting, going through those, and then not only that, like you could see in a couple of pictures, like you could tell, like when turbos came relevant, if you could see it in the Indy cars of where their development started,
Yeah.
and kind of working through them, and even that one that I sent where it's pre-turbo fueling.
Yeah, the fuel injector is before the turbo. That was a thing. That was pretty common.
That's wild.
Right.
To have like a blow-through turbo. Apparently International made a turbo kit for the Scout, which I've never seen, but we saw it in a magazine. And the turbo mounted between the carburetor and the intake.
Huh.
So you're fueling, your air gets sucked through the carburetor, grabs the fuel while it's getting sucked through, and then it goes through the turbo. And it's not intercooled.
No.
So there's got to be some level of pre-ignition.
It's fine.
Or it's just really atomized then.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sure. Crazy.
Yeah,
We didn't even know
going through it.
what we didn't know, though.
You gotta learn.
Right.
Fucking around and find out.
Probably still makes more power than anything I'll ever own.
Oh, yeah.
Sure as hell a lot more.
That's probably got more power than what they do now.
I mean, yeah, probably. They don't go as fast.
It's totally
They
unrestricted.
didn't go as fast, but wide open, it probably made more power than what we have now, for sure. Because
regulations and safety.
Yeah, it was really cool.
fun haters, basically.
Like in the center of it, obviously in the pictures you could see for people that aren't there, or just listening, like they had all the Indy cars, throughout the years, kind of a thing through there, and then like on the sides of the walls and everything, and even in another room, like they had like all the different helmets throughout the years of what they did. Of course, the beginning ones they practically had a hat on.
Yep.
Yeah, just a leather
And I'm
football
like,
helmet.
I don't know why you're even bothering with that.
Keep your hair nice.
Well, I mean, if a rock flies up, that would probably help a little bit.
Yeah,
Or a bug.
It keeps the skin from going away.
Yeah.
You still feel it.
Yeah. A bug, I mean, I'd rather have that over my head than hit a fly.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
And then
Did
going
you-
through like all the helmets and then fire suits, they had all the different years. So that was really
that's
interesting.
hilarious, too.
And what's funny is fire suits. What was interesting is I don't have a good picture of it, but like the early ones, you're like, okay, yeah, this is clearly like the thinnest of thin of layers. And then like probably 40s, 50s, like it looked like a race suit. And then like 60s, 70s, it like went backwards. It didn't even look like it. It was just like a furry cloth. And I'm like, I feel like we're going the wrong direction here.
Nah,
And
we
then it
just
went
figured
back to
shit
the-
out better.
And then it went back to more of a traditional race suit looking thing.
Did you get to how well did you get to see the track?
Not well. We could have done a tour where you take a bus.
So I looked at it.
Do that kind of a thing.
I looked at the options because I was kind of hoping we were going to get there early enough on Friday that we could go and see it. And apparently you can pay to ride a bus around the racetrack, which sounds really stupid.
But they think they do it all day, every day.
I think I might still do it.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounds really stupid.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
might-
They do it at Daytona, too.
But I might pay for it.
Yeah.
So I think you get to ride the bus, and then you could stop, or did they stop at the bricks? And of course,
Yeah.
you could kiss the bricks on the
I
way
don't
through.
need to kiss a
and then
bunch
you
of rocks.
can go on
I'm
your
not
tour.
that kind of guy.
No.
I'm not going to kiss the bricks. I'm not going to kiss the Blarney
Just saying.
Stone. Just deal with it, okay? But
Not kissing it unless I want to race.
I would like to stand on it and just
Be there.
look. Just look towards turn one. That would be an experience. A spiritual experience for me.
Although it was interesting because I could see, I forget which corner it was, but I could see one of the corners, and they have more banking than I expected.
Yeah, that doesn't
I
surprise
thought
me.
that track was a much flatter than it is, which really makes sense.
It's got to be
obviously
pretty
how fast
banked.
it's
I
going,
mean, they go really fast there. It's got to be pretty banked.
Right.
Only 230.
Only. that track's more of a rounded off square or a
Big square.
rectangle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's not cornered all the way around. It's corner short straight, corner
Yeah.
long straight, right?
Yeah, basically.
correct.
Okay. Crazy.
So,
Huh.
yeah.
Did you go in the EV room?
At
At
yes,
PRI?
at PRI. Yes.
We're back.
Yeah,
we're
we
jumping
walked
back
through
and
it.
forth, Robbie. Just deal with it.
I'm trying my best. I want to hear all about your weekend.
The EV room. So they had an EV room this year where they were specifically looking at different kinds of electric vehicles. So not only factory cars, but cars that have also been converted.
Okay.
So Dai Yoshihara's Pikes Peak Model 3 was there. Don Garlett's Swamp Rat, I think 38 or whatever it is. It's like a full electric drag car or a dragster was there. I took some pictures of this thing because it was really interesting to me. There was a converted spec racer Ford that has ran in the Thunderhill 25 hour.
Oh, yeah.
Is the only electric vehicle to complete the 25 hour. They actually, literally, the guy told I talked to the guy for a while because I've actually followed this particular thing for a while because I think this is actually really cool. So I talked to one of the guys on the team for a little while. He said they literally finished the race, did all their packing up, loaded the car into the trailer, and drove it to PRI. That was their schedule.
Yep.
Because Thunderhill was literally the weekend before. So this car, the batteries can be removed.
Like a drill.
I mean, I guess you could call it that.
You just hot swap them, man.
So the body lifts up. It's a Spec Racer Ford body, just like what James from Kanga Motorsports drives. The body lifts up, and they've got these little jacks that it sits on so they can get it up out of the way so that they can do their driver changes and stuff like that too without having to take it all the way off. And then the battery packs basically are sitting where the side, if you think about a Formula car, where the side pods would be.
Yep.
They're down low, which makes sense, on both sides of the driver. And then there's basically a square tubing that runs from the front of the car to the back of the car. And there's a C channel that the battery box has on it that it literally just sits onto that C channel or onto that square tubing. And then they have pins that just run through and hold the battery pack in place. Quick disconnects, unplug, plug it in, drop the body back on the car, send it down the race or onto the racetrack again. And their party mode, I think it made 185 horsepower or something like that. So it's not. I think it might actually be faster than a Spec Racer Ford would be.
But it's moving. I mean, it's even with the batteries, it can't be that heavy.
Yeah. It's a really cool design because that's the hurdle, right? Is being able to get the batteries either swapped out or charged in a reasonable amount of time so you can get it back on the racetrack. That's the hurdle.
Yep.
And I mean, these guys literally built this thing in the garage. It's rough, dude.
Well, yeah, I would
I mean, it
imagine.
finished a 25-hour race. It's rough.
Of course it is.
I mean,
And it was actually that wasn't a full 25 because it rained and they canceled it.
but this is the second, or at least second, if not third year this car has ran.
Right.
This car has run more consecutive laps than Robbie's NPO1, and it did it on battery. I'm just saying.
True story. Thanks a lot, Sadev. Did you talk to them at PR?
No, I mean mugged him.
Good.
As I walked by. I gave him mean mugs, and Booney was unimpressed with my effort.
Yeah, it was completely lacking.
And I told him, then come out here and do it yourself.
That's the right response.
So
I appreciate the number of people that have tagged them and things.
we're not making friends here, are
No,
we?
we're not making friends.
Fuck it.
No.
Fuck
Their
it.
warranty means nothing, so.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That was cool to see. I mean, whether I don't hate EV as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I don't necessarily know that it's the answer. I certainly don't. I wouldn't say that I think it's the answer. I just think it's an answer. That I don't know that it's sustainable.
No.
But I don't know that we have a solution that's sustainable at all, short of fucking walking, which I'm not.
Not a big fan of that either.
Not a big fan
Not
of,
advocating for either.
Not especially not in a competitive circumstance.
No.
And I'm not going to ride a bike either.
Did you
if I can
ask?
avoid it.
Did you ask them how many batteries they had, like for the 25? Like, did they?
I did not. I don't know why that never crossed my mind.
Okay.
So there is 2 sets of batteries on the car.
Yes.
So they have a battery pack on driver and air quotes passenger side, right? But I don't know how many. If they just have 4,
There's got to be more than that.
there's got to be more than that.
Let's assume.
I should have asked them.
I do want to know. Like, and I'm not asking like I bet they have 30 batteries.
No, like I just wonder,
legitimately,
like,
I bet
what's
they
it
have.
take? You know what, Robbie? I bet they'd do a show,
I bet they would.
and I bet they'd be real fucking happy to do a show.
Yeah. I mean, I would be.
And
curious.
it probably would be a good interview. I would enjoy it.
Yeah, that'd be a real interesting one.
We
for
might have
sure.
to do that.
Yeah, we only have like 6 other interviews that we said we were going to do.
Yeah, we
haven't
haven't done yet, so it's fine. Whatever. This is the season of interviews, Robbie. I don't have anything to do till March,
I'm fine with that.
and we're not fucking doing a topic, Robbie. That takes work.
I'm fine with interviews because we have many to make up for.
Yeah. Anyway, the EV room in general was way more interesting than I had anticipated. So when you're walking through the hallway, you know, it's one of those smaller like ballrooms off to the side, right? So you're walking through the hallway and you look in the EV room and the only thing you can see is a new gen Formula E car. And I literally couldn't be less interested in Formula E if I wanted to be.
I've watched some races and I just can't.
Well, and the car itself does nothing for me. It's not an interesting car because it's not very fast. No. And the amount of money they've put into it, it either needs to be faster or better looking, one of the two. Because it's not particularly handsome as far as Formula cars go, and it's fucking slow as far as Formula cars go.
Yep.
So, like, it's super uninteresting. But I was like, you know what? We're here. We better at least peek in there. And we walked in there and I was like, oh.
There's some stuff.
There's like actually some really interesting stuff in here. So there was the Spec Racer Ford thing. There was the Pikes Peak car. There were the drag cars. There was that Camaro that was converted to electric to be drifted from he ran in Formula Drift.
Yeah.
That kind of was stillborn and never went anywhere, but it was there. AEM had a whole booth in there.
Yep. And then there was like an FRS there that had an electric swap in it.
A new GR86 that had a full electric swap in there.
Oh.
GM Performance had a booth in there. It was all their electric stuff. It's basically a crate engine that they make.
Yeah, I heard the guy talking to somebody else, and they're treating it as a crate engine that you can swap into, kind of a thing.
And so that was actually that was a way more interesting room than I had anticipated it being. And there were some really cool cars in there. There was some really interesting products in there. That was kind of like the surprise of the show for me, as far as like what was in there. Because we walked by it probably 4 times. And every time I looked in there and I saw that fucking Formula E car, I was like, man,
forget it.
I don't care. And then we went in there like, oh, this is actually pretty rad. There's some really neat hardware in here. So apparently the two big drag cars that were in there. One of them was an AC motor and the other was a DC motor.
Oh.
Which I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, I figured it'd just be DC, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess there's an alternating current version too. And they had a big display board about like the pros and cons of both. And there was actually some really interesting stuff in there. I even learned a few things. Which I know you're not supposed to do, but I did it.
I'm proud of you for learning something.
I don't know that I could recite them on demand here.
That's okay.
But like it was cool. I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet that was a pretty quiet room because everyone did the same thing you did, and we're like, I'm here for the V8s.
There were more people in there than I had expected, honestly.
It's actually good.
So it was neat. I learned that AEM owns Stack now, and that I can buy retro Stack dashes from AEM. And so now I just want to buy one for my Omni.
Please do.
And put it in my car and still not drive the Omni because they're so fucking cool.
They're so expensive.
Are they?
Yes.
Damn it!
Because I have been actively looking at like gauges and stuff for the Z because I'm sick of not knowing what my miles per hour are.
That's right. You got a speedometer now.
Yeah, I bought a speedometer. Because when you take the ABS out, you lose that.
Yeah.
350Cs.
Oh.
So
how do you get a mile per hour signal to an aftermarket gauge like that?
GPS, 10 hertz.
Oh, well, that's easy. So
Yeah.
you just got to wire it to power.
Yes.
Cool.
It couldn't be easier.
All right.
And it really wasn't that expensive. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do that.
I really want one of those stat gauges.
I do
the
too.
Stat gauge the dash. Josh, don't shake your head.
They were sweet. I'm not.
Don't shake
at
your
all.
head at me like that.
But it's just funny.
Oh, sorry.
All
It was
the things.
Autometer, not AEM. It was Autometer.
Oh, yeah.
I want a real stack dash, obviously. But, like, I don't have $10 billion to spend on a real stack dash.
Right. So this will do.
That's the problem. Because like once I looked at it, I was like, oh, well, at that price, I'll just get an AIM dash and like all the shit that
Is
goes
that,
with
like,
it.
basically what they are?
They're expensive. I don't remember. I don't have the number in front of me, but it was not cheap. Like the thing, the dash
Damn
on
it,
top.
Robbie.
I want to say it was $900.
Oh, that's totally worth it.
But then you get an AIM data logger at that
I
price.
take everything I just said back. I'm in at $900.
I might be wrong, but it was like the same.
I'm totally in at $900.
That dash
Robbie.
was the same as an AIM data logger.
I will buy that fucking thing and put it in my car and then still not fix it. That's how much I love it.
Do it.
I'm looking it up. I'm totally in at $900. Like, I'll buy that damn thing with my tax return. It'll just show up at my house, and my wife will be mad at me for like a week.
She'll get over it. If you do a really good job, you could have it delivered here. I'll even hide it from you. Not from you, for you.
Oh,
How much is it?
you're wrong, Robbie.
Is it more or less?
It's
I
way
just
more.
looked it up too.
Is it like
It's not
$2?
close.
The cheapest one I can quickly find on Google results, where they have like you can scroll through here.
Yeah.
It's $1,500.
Yeah, so it's the same price as an AIM data logger.
Here's an AIM for $1,400.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck me.
As
Robbie.
soon as I saw it, I was like, well, that's not even worth it.
It might still be worth it.
It's
though.
not worth it.
It's probably still worth it.
No, so I just got my $150 gauge because that's
This
all I
one
needed.
has lap time in it.
So does all the AIM data loggers, as well as all the data.
I have an Apex Pro, Robbie.
Yes, but it doesn't have any engine data. If that's what you're going after.
No, I have a stack.
Yes,
for
but
that.
that's not recorded.
It's recorded in my mind's eye, Robbie.
No. I'm not spending that kind of money for non-data review data.
I don't need to review the data. I'm
You do.
street driving this
You
car.
need to- No, you're not.
I'm just looking at.
Not doing that.
This is a cars and coffee purchase, Robbie.
I will give you that.
This is a cars and coffee purchase. It's totes what this is.
I'll give you that.
I want it,
Adam, I want you to buy it.
but
You should buy it.
a real one is like absurd and apparently real inaccurate.
Oh,
Apparently, because they're so old. Because that's not a new product.
no.
Apparently, they were like not very accurate, and they're shockingly
There's
expensive. now.
there's a eBay knockoffs. These are like $200. Just want you to know that.
Ooh, then use your $15 gift card.
I'm not opposed to that.
If
you don't think I won't buy that, you're fucking wrong.
It's the same design. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's.
I mean, I don't care, Robbie. I really don't. I'll just put my phone on my dash to get the actual.
Won't even use it as a dash.
It just
It's not even wired. It's not even like wired into. Nothing. It just lights
I want
up.
it. I want it to work with the RPM. I don't care if it's accurate. I just want it to work.
That's what I discovered with the Z is that because everything's on the CAN system, so I can't just like wire an attack.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like super annoying.
But also really good because CAN is awesome if you buy a dash.
Yes.
Yes.
But I didn't want to spend that kind of
You
money.
could spend $1,500 on a stack, Robbie.
Or getting $1,500 on an entire AIM system.
Stupid, Robbie. This is not the hot boy way.
Done with that way.
You
I've
are
done enough
you are a 350Z owner.
Yes. Oh.
In GLTC, Robbie, you buy a stack because it's the hot
No,
boy
I would
way.
get the data system.
You buy a stack because it's the hot boy way, and then you support your friends at Apex Pro.
I will definitely do that. But
Actually, this is a they had a
you do realize that I went that route because I bought just the mile per hour gauge
I know,
and I
and
kept the Apex Pro.
Right, I know. I get that. There's a product that they were so Apex Pro returned this year. They were in the HMS booth.
Well, before we go there, I want
Okay.
to tell you that I did do something hot boy on the Z though.
Okay.
I dropped all my shit off at Tony Morrow for powder coating.
That's right.
And
Careful, Robbie. Can you tell me what color you're powder coating? Or are you going to give too much away?
This is irrelevant to the color of the car.
Okay.
So I walked in
At
there.
what point am I going to be locked out of your garage?
Now. The vinyl's been ordered.
Starting now.
The vinyl's ordered because the car has no vinyl on it anymore.
I know it. Last time I saw it was
the vinyl's in the
you
middle.
had finished the body work.
No, I got the hatch and the bumper to fix yet.
Oh well, okay. You had fixed Wes's carnage.
Yeah, exactly. Replace the door and the quarter panel.
Yeah.
The whole deal. Now I fixed what
so
E-Man
much
broke,
work.
and now I need to fix what
Dalton broke. Okay. All right, we're there now.
But I dropped off all my stuff, and I basically had like 11 things, and I go, I need 8 of these to be satin black, but these parts here that go on like my subframe,
Underneath the car,
the subframe,
where none of us can see him.
Yep. I was like, let's make this a fun color, so I made them blue.
I wanted it to be gold so bad.
I could have been gold. Well, it was funny because I was like, I like this blue. He's like, that's an expensive blue. It's a candy. That's too. I was like, oh, I know. Well, candy. I'll take this blue.
Put that one back down.
Yeah. I have candy blue in the garage. I'm not taking the time to do it myself. I just dropped it all off.
Yeah.
I have so much shit to do.
Okay. So we were there's a picture of this because I actually want you to look at this.
Okay.
So I was talking to Andrew. That picture right there, Robbie. So I was talking to Andrew. They were in the HMS booth. HMS is like a performance shop type thing, but they specialize, it seems like, in a lot of safety-oriented parts.
Yes, they do.
And Apex Pro is very deeply
Rooted. They're in bed together.
Right. They do a lot of stuff together, including a PRI booth. So HMS sells this thing, right? So it's a tire pressure and pyrometer system that saves your data for when you check it, and then it can dump it to a Excel sheet, so you can have running information. And so like you're out on track on a test day.
Yep.
And you go out there and you run a test session, and you come in and you guys are driver changing, and I can grab inside, outside, or inside, middle, outside pyrometer checks on each wheel, each tire.
You just did something I did at work one time. We'll tell the story as soon as you're done with this.
And then pressure of each tire.
Yep.
And then that information can be saved, and then we can pull that back up when we're done with the test day, and you guys can go, I liked how we had this set, and you can pull up that data, and you can go, okay, we had this tire pressure, the pyrometer readings were the most correct, the most uniform across the tire when we were running this pressure. This is the setup we need for this track tomorrow.
What's that cost?
And it's shockingly, like, that setup, the tire pressure gauge and the pyrometer, not remarkably more expensive than quality items of those two things without that level of data independently.
What are we talking, like $250?
No, I'm talking like $500 though.
Shoot.
So how's it work? Is it just like clamp onto the wheel? I don't have the picture.
No,
It's
so
like-
it's
no,
just
it's just a little probe.
tire pressure monitor or a tire pressure gauge, but instead of it just being a gauge, it's like a little, almost like the size of a phone, but like
so
2 or
you're
3
still
times as
checking
thick.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still checking it when
Gotcha.
the car comes off the track, and there's a digital gauge on it, so you can see what it is, but it's also storing that data in the device.
Gotcha.
And then the pyrometer plugs into the bottom of it, and you just take the pyrometer and stick it on the inside, the middle, and the outside of the tire to get those 3 readings to make sure that your temperatures are uniform across the tire.
Yep.
And then we can change pressures and send you back out there and come back in and find out, that was too low in the back now because our outside temperature is fucking boiling hot. So we need to put more pressure back in the tire in the back, but the front was better. So let's leave it there type thing.
God,
And you can, and it just dumps it right into an Excel sheet on a computer.
I want it.
Scott and Becky Robertsons,
They have one.
They have one. Becky sings its praises from the high heavens. And when I was looking at it, it's fucking rad.
Yeah, I'll be paying Becky for her time to help me with that.
I think this is something you guys need, not only for your GLTC efforts and stuff like that, but this thing makes a
for
lot
the
of sense at
MPO1.
the MPO1 too.
Oh, couldn't agree more.
This is like, seriously, for any serious race car driver, you guys need to go to HMS and find this
The
setup.
ultimate tire management system.
Yeah, I didn't take a very good picture.
From Race Sense.
I didn't take a good picture far enough back because I wanted to see the product. So I don't remember who makes it, but
Race Sense.
they sell it at HMS.
It's the Race Sense pocket tire gauge.
There you go. So there's a pocket
It's new.
version and like a not pocket version.
Yeah.
The pocket one was like Bluetooth or something like that, which sounds annoying.
Yeah, I want that like a lot.
But that was one of the most interesting products I saw this weekend. It was really cool.
Yeah, that looks super useful.
Yeah. 7 presets for teams with multiple vehicles, Robbie. Measures temperature, pressure, and more.
That's nice.
It was cool. Something I think every pro-am racer needs. Grassroots, maybe. Pro-am,
Yeah, Pro-Am for sure.
for sure.
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So basically half the people listening to this show.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a GLTC driver, you're a Pro-am driver now. Just get used to that.
Yeah.
And you need one of these.
Yeah, if you're in WRL, get used to it.
Oh. I mean, if you're not using this in WRL, you're leaving time on the table.
You're way behind.
And you're burning up tires unnecessarily.
Yep.
What, are you fucking drifting now?
Ugh.
Gross. What'd you do at work?
Oh, this is a long time ago when
What did I fuck up?
So when you were talking, you spoke out loud and you were saying check and test at the same time, but it came out
Okay.
chest because you clearly
Yep.
you changed your mind mid sentence
Okay.
and changed it from check test to chest. So when I first started at work, I was telling the quality engineer what I was doing for some validation stuff I was doing. I'm sitting in my chair,
Yep.
and she is standing up, looking down to me, talking
Of course,
to
there's
me.
a she, and she's standing there.
Yep. So I'm looking up at her, and and I did the exact same thing.
And then
So we're-
Robbie thought he was going to get fired.
So yeah, so we're talking about it and what I was doing for validation, and I did the same thing. I switched between check and test mid sentence, and I was looking up at her like in the eyes, going chest, and I went, and I paused, and then the girl that sat directly across from me, one of the planners, looked up over her desk. She goes, "What did you just say?" Fuck! God damn it!
Oh, it's amazing.
I just froze. I didn't even know what to say. I'm like 6 shades of red. I mean, obviously she knew what happened and took it in stride, and it was no big deal. But it was just I was so embarrassed.
That's hilarious.
It was one of the first times I've ever spoken to her too, because I'm new at the job.
And she's probably a superior at that point to you.
She ended up being my boss later.
Of course.
But then, of course, we're doing one-on-ones meetings, so that I still think of that while we're having these conversations.
Right.
I'm like, don't say chest. Don't say chest.
Oh, no.
Fucking Freudian slips, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you did that. Reminded me of when I did that.
Nice.
Check and test. Chest. Happens.
So, Josh, you've been to both now. Better than SEMA?
For me, I would say yes.
More interesting
The
for
easiest way I
guys
can
like us.
explain it is PRI is SEMA without the bullshit.
SEMA's a car show. PRI is a race
Yes.
convention.
Right.
So there's still show cars there. But by and large, most of those cars, even if they are show cars, are quite capable cars.
Yeah.
Right. They're more of the racing side of things, whereas SEMA's just straight car show.
Because any car can be a show car. PRI is a very good example of that.
Any race car could be a show car.
You're right.
Yeah.
Race cars can be show cars. Show cars can't necessarily be race cars.
Correct.
So
Yeah, I did have a little FOMO while you guys were there. And
Good.
But at the same time,
Good.
I enjoyed my vacation. I'll try. I'll try to convince Jess to have her birthday on a different weekend next year.
that would be nice.
And then
it's
so we
really rude of her, frankly.
Selfish.
Be real
Yeah,
helpful.
we've been going to PRI longer than she's been around.
We have not.
Damn it. That's true. That's true.
Nice try.
'Cause she came in like week 2 of the podcast. didn't she?
Basically, yeah.
Damn it. All right, you got me there.
But we have consistently been doing the podcast longer than she's been around.
Yeah. Can't say that about Katie, unfortunately.
Nah.
Huh? Katie's been around a lot longer than the podcast.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
way longer. Like
Sorry,
double.
I had that backwards in my head. Yeah, for sure.
We can't say that about Katie.
No.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Josh, he's been with his wife for longer than half his life at this point, I think.
Yep.
Eternity.
So
Happens.
it was a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It looked like fun. That's been 2 years since I've been there.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go back eventually.
Yeah. You should, Robbie.
I need more vacation, man. That's the problem. Is that like by racing, I piss away all my vacation.
Just call
So
in
basically, my
sick.
vacation is based on
Just call it sick,
racing.
Robbie.
That's unethical, Adam. I would never. I would never.
Problem is that you have just enough people that at work that I think follow the things we
Yes,
do.
I do.
That like
I will for sure have a conversation about my chest conversation because they'll know who I'm talking about. Luckily, anyone that listens to the show probably knows the story already.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah, anyone that didn't know the story now does. But they know exactly who I'm talking about.
shit happens.
Nah, she'd still laugh about it today. So
Yeah, probably.
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's all I got. Is this a short show?
No, hour and a half.
Oh, see, short show.
Sort
We
of.
recorded a podcast with
Slip Angle?
with Slip Angle and Track Walking.
So you like barely even got into it.
So it was about an hour long, and then Adam ran out of memory card, and then at the end of it, right, we're kind of like giving everyone, because we were there with the guys from Fields Auto Works.
Oh wow.
And some stuff like that. So everyone's there kind of like giving their closing statements. And I said, if you're listening to this and you feel like you've only listened to half a podcast, then 1010's podcast is where you need to be. So
Proud of you.
yeah,
I haven't listened to that episode yet. I keep forgetting my headphones when I go to work.
no, I wouldn't recommend it. It's garbage.
Yeah, but Dusty made it sound like it was funny because somebody walks in and goes, "Hey, the 1010s podcast guys are here."
Yeah, we just walked in late. Jubei told us an address, and I think we all collectively heard a different address.
Oh, if you all heard it, then no, he told you.
Is
wrong.
that what it,
I could have swore I heard the other address, so but
604 or 304?
I heard it 604.
Which is what it wasn't.
It was 304.
Okay, I heard 604 too.
So you all went to 604.
Well, 604 doesn't exist, first of all. It goes from like 602 to like 614. And so like but there's like a tiny little alley, so we're like we walked up and down that street like 4 times, right?
Yep.
Like back and forth and back and forth, like, well, maybe it's through here. And like, nope, that's not it. And then we called Jabez, he's like, oh, door's unlocked. So we ran around and like tried all the doors, like nope, none of these doors lock. And so we called Jabez back again. He's like 304, like,
Not even close, dude.
which is actually way closer to where we parked the car because we had to street park. So we had to park way far away. And we literally walked right by it on the way from where we parked to where we first went. Then we turned around and went back. And also, again, doors were locked. Jabez was like, oh, yeah, doors unlocked. Come on in. It's not fucking unlocked. So then he had to get up and let us in. And so we walk in there mid-podcast.
Oh, nice.
And there's not enough seats for all of us. So I'm like, oh, we need a chair. Where's the... And I didn't even realize they were recording.
Oh, rude.
I know, right? Otherwise, I would have been way quieter and more respectful because I know how serious Slip Angle can be.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And they take their audio very seriously.
Yeah, we totally didn't just have a Zoom recorder sitting in the middle of a table with one of those open room mics.
No, they did not.
I listened to it.
It's not
It
that
sounds way better than expected.
Yeah, those. I mean,
I was
these do a really
shocked
good.
on
These
how good it
Zoom
sounded.
these Zoom recorders do a really good job.
Sitting right in front of Adam,
Yep.
and he would like make a statement and hit the table. And the whole time I'm just thinking, that's going to fucking hurt my ears later if I listen to this.
Yep,
So, yeah.
it happens.
We heard, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll be back eventually.
Or not.
Or
Fuck
not.
it.
Yeah, whatever. Every time you go to one of these things, you talk to a vendor and they're like, "Here's my card. Email me on Monday." Then why am I fucking here, man?
I didn't talk to a single person in that capacity.
See, that's like the last time I was there was when I was actively pushing for all the sponsorship for Mid-Iv TT.
Yeah, and that actually like
I was
panned out better than I had anticipated it would.
It did. I had better luck on my cold calls and emails than I did at PRI. So
That's fair. Jacob, who I went with, he is a mechanical engineer like you, graduated from Iowa State like you. You're basically the same person. It's really, I mean, you weren't there, but I felt like you basically were because you're.
Was he quiet like me?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was.
Was he like super chill and just like laid back, easy
Maybe
going?
even too much, frankly.
Wow. And people just liked having him around, is what you're saying?
Sure.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
he has J-body, so yeah, we like.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the really like the big difference is that he is a terrible GM guy. He doesn't like Z's, which is nice.
No, it's
It's a
terrible.
pleasant change of pace.
No, it's not.
I got to talk about Cavaliers and Cobalts and Ions, which was great.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he does not like his current employment position. What's that like?
But who
right?
does? Yeah.
I like my job. I
Yeah,
really
so
actually do like
that's
my
fine.
job. But I was like, he really, really wants to be in the automotive industry. In fact, he's been seriously talking about just like dragging up and moving to Detroit. Like, now I got to figure this out type thing. And I was like, you know, like you realize where we're going, right? Like, maybe you should talk to some people about jobs. He's like, I guess I never even thought about that. Like,
Yeah, dude.
bro, are you fucking kidding me? 3/4 of the places here are hiring right now.
Uh-huh.
So we were walking around, and he was wearing a T-shirt from, because he's a big rallycross guy. So he's wearing a T-shirt from one of the rallycross national events, which just happened to used to be held in Indianola, which is
Just down the street.
home of Michael Beck. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Like growing up originally.
Right. That's where he was born and raised.
Yes.
And so he's wearing that shirt, and we're walking by a booth, and he had stopped and was looking at some of the stuff in that booth, and the guy in there's like, "Oh, Indianola, like, are you from around there?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know, we live in Iowa." And he's like, "Oh, well, we're based out of Norwalk." Like, "Oh, really? Well, that's interesting." And so we were like, start talking to him because Norwalk's like literally the next town over from where we are right now.
Yep.
I assume that's probably where you like do grocery shopping and stuff sometimes.
I usually get groceries on the way home.
Okay.
But yeah, Norwalk is, if I need something on a Saturday,
Yeah.
Norwalk.
Yeah, because you're not going to go to West Des Moines. There's too many people.
You know, when people are there on a Saturday?
All the people, Robbie.
Everyone from other parts go to like West Des Moines.
Well, it's because it's the best Des Moines.
That is true.
Anyway, so we were talking to these people for a while, and they're like, he's like, "You're not like hiring for an ME position, are you?" And they're like, "Yeah, kind of." Like, yeah. He's like,
What do they do?
they make like weird electronic things.
I've talked to them.
It was either Row or How. I can't remember which.
I want to say how.
It was definitely either an H or an R. OWE. Electronics.
I think it's how, because we talked to them.
it's how
because they did some electronic stuff on the Porsche. That we did.
So they make a box that you can wire into your existing wiring harness that'll strobe your turn signals.
Okay.
And it looked a lot better than the one that we currently use at the place I work.
Yep.
So and then I find out that like they're from Norwalk, and now I'm way more interested in this product because not only do I get a product I like better, but I can support a local business, and I really enjoy
Win-win.
those sort of things.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a thing I'm going to be looking into. Excuse me, but yeah, I was like, see, Jacob, see what happens.
That's perfect.
And then they're like asking him questions about like what he's done and stuff like that. And he never once mentioned the fact that he graduated from Iowa State with an engineering degree. And so we walk away from there, and I was like, "So I got a question for you. He's like, okay. I was like, you did graduate, right? He's like, yeah. And I was like, and so you have a mechanical engineering degree, right? And he's like, yeah. So why didn't you fucking tell them that? Oh, well, it'll say it on my resume. Well, yeah, but you still fucking tell them that.
Let them know.
Because, like, the engineer term gets thrown around way too much these days. Even Dalton's an engineer.
Dalton's an engineer. the guy that picks up my trash is a sanitation engineer.
I mean, maybe. You don't know that.
That's what they call him.
You don't know that.
You don't know that. They don't know that.
Okay, that's fair. But, like, maybe mention the fact that you're not just interested in a mechanical engineering position, but you're legitimately qualified for it.
Yes.
Should lead with that.
I have a degree and I know what I'm doing.
I mean, those are not mutually exclusive. Sorry, mutually inclusive.
But that's what makes him special. Is he has a degree and he knows how to use it.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah, but you say that. That's what the interview is for. I am the best at this. They don't know.
Not until after they hire you, and then
It's too late.
It's so hard to fire people in Iowa. You're stuck with them now.
Yeah, you can't fire people.
You're stuck with him now.
Yep.
Just promote him upwards if he sucks at his job.
Yeah, if he's terrible at his job, you just give him a different job and give him a promotion.
You just fail him upwards. That's how it works.
That's corporate America right there.
Hell yeah.
That's why I'm stuck in the job I've been in for so long.
Yeah,
is because
you're too good
at it. They don't.
You can't be replaced.
They can't fail me.
Tell me about it. That's all I got.
Yep.
Any other closing thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, I got nothing else.
I'll go eventually to one of these again, maybe, or I won't.
I miss like the
core group
going and like eating terrible Mexican hamburgers.
How about good hamburgers?
Well, I enjoyed Giordano's more than.
That was good when we were with the SEC.
Joe's.
Yeah, when we were with the SEC guys.
I miss that though. It was fun when we had like a big get together and there was 20 people there. And
yeah,
you should do that again.
Okay. Or we could just do it at Midwest Fest.
I mean, we do that anyway. But there's like 200 people there.
Yeah, we should
I don't know any of them.
Let's just like start prepping it now, though, so everyone knows that the 10 Tenths Podcast Paddock party at Gingerman.
I'm genuinely nervous about what's going to happen this year. I'm genuinely nervous about what Tommy will bring out.
We haven't spent a lot of podcast money on things.
I didn't know we had a lot left.
We should invest some of that into our paddock party.
I didn't know that there was a large sum of money to be spent.
There's always money to be spent, Adam. Especially if it makes the party better.
PayPal's just giving it away to us. We get emails fucking
all the time,
3 days a week about how we're qualified for a PayPal credit card.
We could have a credit card. Yeah.
That's such a bad idea.
It's fine.
0 down for 90 days or something like that. Yeah, it's free money.
PayPal is interest free for 6 months.
6 months. 6 months.
Definitely pay that off in time. We could get a mechanical bull.
We're not buying a mechanical bull podcast funds.
Why not? The 10 Tenths Party podcast party paddock.
At some point, they're going to tell us we can't have that much paddock space. That's not taking up the car.
We'll be part of the official thing, man. It's the official paddock party with our mechanical bull. Or as the advertisement said, Toro Mecanico.
El Toro Mecanico. Robbie's so serious about this, he talked to Jessen. He tried to talk Jessen to it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's because Tommy was dead serious about paying half.
Tommy was ready to pay for half of a $4,000 mechanical bull that's here in Des Moines.
And they keep dropping the price on it.
And we haven't even sicked Tommy on them yet.
Yeah. I know. He'll get it for half price anyways.
Yeah, a mechanical bull would just be tops.
See, what Tommy's going to do is he's going to get it for half price and not tell Robbie.
And just show up with it.
And then Robbie's going to pay his half and he can pay for the whole thing.
Robbie's prepared to pay $2,000 for it, so if Tommy can get it for $2,000,
I'm not paying $2,000. I was all in when everyone's like, "Yeah, I'll throw $100 in," and then he had a big group of us.
How hard is it to set it up?
Not. It's like 2 wires.
It's got like a big inflatable thing around it though.
So it's just as hard as sliding up a hot tub.
You'd be shocked at the amount of effort that goes into that.
The Toro Mecanical would
Thank
be just
God that those guys drive reliable Sunday Cup cars. Because if they had cars that were hard to work on, none of that shit would happen.
Yeah. When I was in college and we'd go out on the weekends, they'd wait until I got good and drunk. And then they were like, hey, I heard that there's Mechanical Bull at Outlaws, which is the cowboy bar. Well, the redneck bar.
No, really? It's called Outlaws. It's a cowboy bar. I would never have guessed, Robbie.
Hold on, the redneck bar. It's not a cowboy bar.
No, well, we're in Iowa. It's not a cowboy.
It's not a cowboy bar.
Just because you wear cowboy boots doesn't mean you're.
It's
a
a redneck bar.
Robbie.
But anyways, it's all the country boys that are getting their agriculture degrees. But they don't.
So many agriculture degrees.
Yeah, so they would be like,
that seems like a waste of
we
money.
should go to Outlaws. They have a Mechanical Bull. And every time after I'd been a few drinks in, I'm like, that sounds awesome. Let's go. Maybe there'll be one this time. And every time we got there,
disappointment.
never a fucking Mechanical Bull. Never once. Not once.
So you've never been on a Mechanical Bull?
I don't want to get on. I just want to watch. I'm just here to stir the pot.
You got to get on it.
No, you get the hot girls and you put it in slow mo.
Yeah, obviously
that's
we do
that's
that,
what you
but
do.
you still got to get on it, Robbie.
No, you get the hot girl and you put her on the Mechanical Bull and you put her in a bandana and crop top.
Robbie.
That's what you want.
Robbie.
I don't want to get on it.
It's a story, Robbie. You have
for
to do it
we do
for
it
the content. You have to do it for the
content.
You break your wrist on the Mechanical Bull and not be able to.
It's still broken from when I went skating
and not
last
be able
time.
to take the green on day 2. That will be for the content.
No. Talking about all the girls that were naked on top of our Mechanical Bull, that is for the content.
That's for the Patreon episode.
I don't want to do all the work for a Patreon episode. I want to do it on the public
we'll put
podcast.
it on the Slip Angle Patreon episode.
No, because he gets all the money.
No, don't give them it.
No, we put it on our podcast, and then we tell people where to buy shirts.
Perfect.
By the way, we can buy. It's almost Christmas time. Buy some shirts. We have a store.
We need a shirt that says a penny saved is a penny race card.
I'm pretty sure Petrobox already stole that from me.
Son of a bitch, John.
Damn it.
He messaged me about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. Have it.
It should be a 1010s podcast collaboration.
All right, we should talk to John.
At least put our sticker in the box.
Before he prints them up, we should definitely for sure take credit.
Huh.
Everyone will know, though.
A penny saved is a penny race card.
It's a good quote.
I used it on Katie, and she did not understand.
Jess understood. She did not appreciate it.
That's fair.
Yep. All right, we've made this show almost last like a normal show.
Let's shut it down.
All right, we'll catch everybody next week.